Hey everybody, welcome back to Younger Man's Game. My name is Eric Wesh, and I'm your host. This is the 7th episode, 8th episode, I think. I think it'll be called episode 7. I think the important takeaway here is that these numbers mean nothing, and you should stop paying attention to them. But this is an episode of Younger Man's Game, a podcast that is about... I don't really know what it's about long term. In the meantime, in the short term, in the near term, in the right now sense, this is a podcast that is going to chronicle my attempt to thru hike the Pacific Crest Trail, a scenic and rugged ribbon of terrain that runs from the U.S.-Mexico border to the U.S.-Canada border across 3 of the most mountainous western states, California, Oregon, and Washington, covering all the high points and beauty along the way. Well, maybe not all, but a good chunk of them. Up to this point, we've covered all kinds of different stuff. We've talked about the physical preparations required, the financial preparations required, the gear you have to buy. A lot of the stuff that you see on social media, if you are like the kind of if hiking and camping is an interest of yours, there's a good chance that your social media accounts are like algorithmically driven to point out accounts to you that will show you all of these things. And they'll, to one degree or another, offer you answers to the problems you think you might face while on the trail. But the more I look at those things, and I have been looking at them more lately, mainly because I have to distribute this content somehow from the trail and from a phone. Like, I'm not going to have my computer with me. I'm not going to pack the old iMac up and take it on a trail. That seems like unnecessary pack weight. I'm going to have to do all this from my phone, which means I got to just kind of like post to social media and then figure out a way to have it automatically cross-post to all these other things, which I'm going to do. But what it means is I've spent more time on social media lately. And I got to tell you, I stopped spending so much time on social media because my opinion of the stuff is not great. And I will tell you that the brief reintroduction that I've had to that universe has done nothing for my opinion of it. In fact, I feel conflicted about even using it as a tool to reach people anymore. And this is something that I think people... Look, I'm 46, which means my entire adulthood was digital and internet-based, going back to, for me, like, middle and high school, really. Like, I was on the nerdy side of that spectrum when I was a kid. So I've been deeply involved in this since the beginning days, right? Like, yeah, I got a Facebook account like the day Facebook was created. It's like I've been around for this medium for a long time. And the dilemma always is this, as we continue this slide toward like algorithms driving worse and worse news into your little stress box that lives in your pocket, and like altering the fabric of reality so that we are all just constantly fearful and suspicious of one another. Like, you still kind of have to be able to get in touch with your elderly aunts and uncles, Like, it's like, some people only talk to their family on Facebook is the reality. And like, so especially if I'm not going to be like reaching out and calling people from the woods, like if I want any of those folks to see what's going on, I kind of have to use these tools. But that's always been the thing. It's like, well, social media sucks, but how else to keep in touch with Auntie Gertrude or whatever? And like, I'm starting to think that the, juice is not worth the squeeze there, just based on how god awful most of social media is. But perhaps I can be, in some small part, if I might delude myself, an agent of change, and maybe some positive vibes will just be just the thing everybody's algorithm needs. So I'm working on it. Got the Instagram set up, Younger Man's Game, at Younger Man's Game on Instagram. I also have a TikTok. It's the same thing. It's at Younger Man's Game, but I don't know how to use TikTok. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it out loud. I am officially an old who does not know how to use TikTok. So I'll figure that one out in the next few weeks. And I'm going to have to figure out how to automatically cross-post. I know there's like a ton of different apps for that. So we'll figure it out. But that's kind of how I'm going to be keeping everyone abreast of what I'm doing. So And like, I don't want to be like a consumer of any of that information. Like the worst thing in the world is when you open Instagram to post something and you end up, half an hour later, you're just thumbing through reels and it's like, Jesus, how did that happen? I wasn't, I mean, it's addictive. It's this horribly addictive little glowing stress rectangle. And like, I don't know. Like I said, I feel conflicted about engaging with it from either side of it. Honestly, I don't want to contribute to anybody out there doom scrolling. So hopefully you can hike scroll with me. You can maybe the algorithm will show you like pictures of flowers or squirrels or something, and it'll like make you smile and it'll make your day a little bit better. I mean, nothing in actual reality or evidence suggests that that's true, but I'm choosing to believe that reality is malleable in this sense. So here we go. Yeah. Look, I don't really have much to say this week. The main thing is that the reason I don't have much to say at the moment is because my next actual episode is going to be airing this coming Friday. I'm going to upload to the internet on Friday. Airing. What am I? Fucking look, just bear with me here, guys. Every Friday from now until May 1st, it is my goal to have a pre-recorded episode covering one facet of this journey, something about it that that I can, talk about at length and research and have like a substantial and fun, engaging little podcast about from May 8th, I guess, 7th, 8th, whatever. Whatever that next Friday is. It's basically every Friday at 4 p.m. My goal is to upload something. Now, the thing is, my actual hike starts in 2.5 weeks. I'll be on trail from April 10th onward. But I am giving myself, hopefully, like 4 weeks on trail to start that process and start producing content that is going to eventually make it into this podcast, because I think it's going to take me that long to just get my bearings and figure out what's happening, and get a handle on the tech that I'm using and just kind of process the experience of the hike enough to have something to say about it. And that's, the last thing I want for this podcast is just to be some endless driveling, nonsense faucet that you just turn on and listen to nothing. I do have some things to say about some things, and I would love it if I can use this podcast to do those, to say those things. However, that will take time and writing and editing and all that good stuff. So we're going to have a bit of a delay. So for those of you who are following along on the Instagram, and you'll start seeing photos and videos from the trail, probably, in the week or two following my start date, but the actual episodes will not become trail recorded episodes, or at least PCT trail recorded episodes, until May. So that's the kind of main announcement today. Other than that, I will go over some basics with the preparation, just let everybody know where I'm at. We are now, like I said, 2.5 weeks from start. Big news last week. I finished my last day at my day job. So now I have a lot more time on my hands to, do the work required to get these episodes out, but also to rest and train. And to that end, basically, I'm continuing to work on my body and get myself as ready as I can be for this trail. The hiking sort of weights that I'm taking, the loadout is getting up near the basically maximum that I plan to carry at any point in this trail, and the mileage is going up, and I'm feeling good about all of that. And yeah, we're going to have to start doing some gear shakedown runs. And so I'm probably going to be recording at least one or two of these from some kind of trail near where I am here. I don't know what that trail is going to be or how near it's going to be, but I imagine we'll find out soon enough. And the social media, again, at some point when I figure my shit out and I have cross-posting technology at my fingertips and can do everything from my phone without the need of a computer, I will update you all with that if there's anything that you need to do to follow me. And other than that, there's not much. I mean, we are seeing a very, very hot heat wave over the southwestern U.S. right now, which is changing the initial expectations I have for the desert. My start date is April 10th, which is neither particularly early nor particularly late for the PCT. It's actually kind of a sweet spot for most years, because it gets you out of the snow Usually it gets you out of the snow. Of course, 2 years ago when I attempted this trail, that was not the case because we had a very, very late winter in Southern California, and there was a lot of snow in the high places on that desert stretch of the trail. That appears to not be. That appears that it will not be a problem this go around because the snow is melting because it's so damn hot, like record-breaking heat all over the Southwest, and so. Great. That's awesome. I'm super glad the trail is dry. It's a lot less hazardous when you're hiking on dry trail. Unfortunately, it also does create another problem, which is that all of the water sources, or at least all of the smaller water sources, will likely be dry by the time I get to them. And it will also be quite unpleasant to hike in the middle of the day if things continue in this general direction. And of course, they may not, right? Like, it's still almost a month away, or the better part of a month away. It could be raining the day I start. It's Mother Nature, right? Like, who the heck knows? But at the moment, it's looking like I'm going to need to prepare for a pretty dry first few weeks on this trail as I cross the desert section, which means I'm going to be carrying more water, up to 5 or 6 liters. Usually, I think 5 is the max because I think the longest stretch between the major water sources in the desert is usually. Okay, sorry, microphone died there. Just more technological stuff. The longest water carry is about 20 miles, give or take. And if you need to have a liter to drink every 4 miles, as I mentioned in a previous episode, that means the longest water carries will require an initial carry of 5 liters, which adds, at 2.2 pounds per liter, that adds 11 pounds to the pack. So it bulks up the weight, makes everything harder. And of course, it's going to be hot and kind of unpleasant. But you know what? It's been super cold all winter here, and I'm frankly looking forward to some sunshine. So not going to complain about things that aren't problems until they're problems. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for tuning into this one. There's not a whole lot more to say, at least not until this coming Sunday. And I will be back with our regularly scheduled program then. So until then, hope you all have a good week and see you around.